What is going on, guys? My name is Taylor Stuber, and I'm here to break down this 3-game preseason NBA slate on Draftkings.com. If you guys are new here or haven't done so already, the number one way to support me is by hitting that subscribe button, liking, and then commenting down below. Literally anything. It helps get the algorithm going. I will make sure to reply to every comment down below. If you guys have questions, 1v1s, anything specific on the slate, I will make sure to reply to anything. So if you have a question later on in the day, come back here, comment. I'll make sure to reply to it. If you have other questions that you need more extensive answers to, join the Discord linked down below. It will be in the description as well as the pinned comment. It is completely free to join. We're at like 1,400 members in there. We're quickly growing. And yeah, this video is a great primer for these slates, but with it being preseason, there is a ton of news that breaks throughout the day, and I make sure to update everything in the Discord, but especially the Patreon. The game notes that I posted, if you're watching this video right now, the game notes are already up, and as news rolls out throughout the day, I make sure to update those game notes. The game notes alone take me hours a day, and I think it's worth the subscription. Only $25 for the rest of the month, less than $1 a day. And with that package, you will also receive my full FanDuel lineup, FanDuel cheat sheet, DraftKings cheat sheet, and DraftKings player core, and I update that throughout the night. If you guys aren't playing on FanDuel and you are eligible to play in your state on FanDuel, I suggest playing over there. I think that has the most edge over there, but of course, like everybody else, I'm the same way. DraftKings, I'm ride or die for DraftKings over FanDuel, but the edge over on FanDuel has been absolutely absurd. But yeah, before we get into everything, I guess let's just get into everything right now. Here is a quick look at the game notes that I have for every single game, every single day, preseason, regular season. Yeah, if you get a package right now, you're also going to get the regular season as well. So I think it's definitely worth the $25. But we will start off with the Toronto Raptors versus the Boston Celtics. Now, there's very good plays in these first couple of games, but as we get deeper into the slate, the plays just get better and better because like yesterday, there were a ton of players ruled out, but unlike yesterday, we already have a bunch of that news already today, so make sure to stick around to the end because the last game is really what you want to be focusing on. Start with the Toronto Raptors up top. There's no Pascal Siakam. He's probably going to miss the first half of the season. No Chris Boucher, Ken Burge, Yuta Watanabe. We saw the starters minutes last game. Anunoby played 30, Van Fleet 29, Scotty Barnes 26, Precious Achiuwa 23, Goran Dragic 22. Gary Trent Jr. returned last game after missing the first contest, came off the bench, played 22 minutes, shot 5 for 12 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. I think he's a fine play in his own right, but Nick Nurse has been known to play his starters deep into the third quarter and even the fourth quarter in preseason games like we saw last time out. So if we're going to continue to see OG Anunoby, Van Fleet play around that 30-minute mark, they are entirely too cheap at that 6.4K and 6.2K price tag. And if Scotty Barnes is going to play similar minutes to them, I'm going to rather pay down for the other guys. But Scotty Barnes is a fine play in his own right at 6,600. In the deeper fourth quarter, he's going to be playing with the backups and should dominate a bit more. But OG Anunoby, Fred VanVleet, with his current setup with no Pascal Siakam, those are the guys I'm really focusing on. The value plays in Chapagny, Precious Achiuwa, Gary Trent, Goran Dragic, I think they're all fine plays, but when we get to the end of the slate, you'll realize that they're not nearly as good as these other players in a much tighter rotation. So really just focusing on Anunoby and Fred VanVleet from the Toronto Raptors. Move over to the Boston Celtics. They're without Jaylen Brown. I think he tested positive for COVID, so he's going to miss this game. Without Jaylen Brown and Kemba Walker on the court last year, Jason Tatum in 800 minutes. So a very large sample size, a 36.2% usage rating, 11.7 total rebound percentage, 22.8 assist percentage, averaging 1.41 fantasy points per minute. Robert Williams, 1.25 fantasy points per minute in that situation. Marcus Smart, 1 fantasy point per minute in that situation. We have new coaching this year, so we don't really have a track record of what they're going to do and what they've done in recent preseason games because they've only had one preseason game. But they did run their key players deeper into the third quarter last time out. So I expect none less than that as long as these guys are all active. The Celtics are experimenting with different lineups right now, hence them starting Juancho Hernan-Gomez last time out. I expect Josh Richardson, Peyton Pritchard, and Dennis Schroeder to get extended minutes in this game with no Jaylen Brown. Peyton Pritchard was the first man off of the bench for Jaylen Brown, so possible starter for him. I think that they might like to bring Dennis Schroeder off the bench, so they might bring Peyton Pritchard into the starting lineup with no Jaylen Brown. And he closed the game as well. So he was like one of the first guys off the bench in the first quarter and actually ended up closing the game out. He played 22 minutes, 3 for 9 shooting for 9 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. So Peyton Pritchard, a pretty good GPP play in my opinion. I think he's going to be pretty overlooked on this slate. Again, this last game is just like absolutely insane with injuries. So these guys are probably all restricted to GPP plays for me. Dennis Schroeder at $5,000 is very interesting to me. If you guys go back to the Oklahoma City team when they had Chris Paul, Dennis Schroeder was coming off of the bench and he had insane rates. And I think that he's in a pretty similar situation here now that he's coming off the bench again, and even more so with Jaylen Brown out this game. So I think Dennis Schroeder, if he can get 22, 24, 26 minutes possibly, he could absolutely destroy this price tag at very, very low ownership. I think people are really low on Dennis Schroeder, but he could still fill up the stat sheet when given the opportunity. But from this game, I'm really just focusing on Jason Tatum. There's so much value on this slate. There's really no reason you should not be playing Jason Tatum. Over to the New York Knicks versus the Washington Wizards. The New York Knicks are going to be without Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson out again. Julius Randle played in the first game, played 30 minutes. Tom Thibodeau, he's going to play his guys. Even though it's preseason. Nerlens Noel missed last game, but he should be active here. That's going to cut into the minutes of Taj Gibson, Jericho Sims. Those guys were playing around 20 minutes that last game. I expect that to get cut back a bit with Nerlens Noel being healthy now, and he's probably going to be in the starting lineup like we saw much of last year. But yeah, Julius Randle, him being out is big news for this team. His direct replacement in the last game, whenever Julius Randle came out, whenever he came in, his direct replacement was Obi Toppin, $5,300. He played pretty decent minutes last game, but it was pretty much all the backup minutes for Randle. So I'm expecting him to play mid-20s minutes in this game, a pretty good per-minute producer. And, not playing next to Julius Randle is a great thing. He did that a lot last year when they were playing those small ball lineups. But now he's going to receive 0 minutes next to Julius Randle. So at 5,300, Obi Toppin, one of the best per minute or best value plays on the slate. But if we go look at the notable minutes from the Knicks in their first game, Julius Randle, like I mentioned, played 30 minutes. Evan Fournier 27, RJ Barrett 25, Kemba Walker 21, Quickly 21, Derrick Rose 21. So I'm expecting them to play their guys deep into the third quarter, if not the beginning of the fourth quarter yet again. So guys like RJ Barrett, Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, Quickly, Derrick Rose are all definitely in play. Specifically Evan Fournier at 5.9K, he's going to play like high 20s minutes. I think that is a very strong play right there. And then Obi Toppin at 5,300, I'm expecting him to play somewhere in the mid 20s minutes in this game. Very good rates. And then Derrick Rose, he played only 21 minutes last game. The guard situation right now is getting pretty muddy. But if there was any chance that he could get to 23, 24 minutes, he's well over a fantasy point per minute player. I think he would be a strong play at $5,000. But at the end of the day, the guys that I'm really just going to get my most action from is probably going to be Obi Toppin and maybe Evan Fournier. Move over to the Washington Wizards. They are going to be without Thomas Bryant, Rui Hachimura, Cassius Winston. Danny Avdija is questionable in this game. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope missed game 1, but he's expected to play here. So that's going to cut into the minutes of Corey Kispert, who grabbed the start last game and played a team-high 25 minutes. So maybe game log watchers are going to see, oh, look, Corey Kispert played 25 minutes last game. Let's go play him today. But now that Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is back, I'm expecting him to start, and even if he doesn't, that's just going to drive up ownership for Kispert. But his minutes are surely going to take a hit with KCP back. the starters played into the third quarter last time out. Just briefly, some of these guys like Dinwiddie, Bradley Beal, they played 21 minutes. Kuzma played 23. And then it looks like Daniel Gafford, he started last game, but it looks like he's in a position or depth chart battle with Montrezl Harrell. They played similar minutes. Gafford played 18. Montrezl played 20 minutes. If I'm choosing between those guys, it's going to be Montrezl Harrell. When he's out there on the court, he is active. I mean, we all know this, especially going back to the Clippers days, the Lakers days. Whenever he's given the opportunity, he's going to be a very good per minute producer. So if he's going to play anywhere around 20 minutes, he is definitely in play. Bradley Beal, 8.7K, cover boy. Yeah, I absolutely love him today. I expect him to play into the third quarter again. Maybe he gets extended a bit more to play around mid-20s minutes, 24, 26 minutes. Dinwiddie, not quite the usage and ball handling guard that Russell Westbrook was. So Bradley Beal's rates are definitely going to come up this year. 8.7K, and in this last game, there's definitely just so much value that fitting in Jason Tatum, fitting in Bradley Beal is very, very doable. From this team, I'm really just focusing on Bradley Beal. I think Dinwiddie, Kuzma, Harrell are in play as well, but it's really Beal that I'm focusing on. All right, now we're moving on to this Atlanta Hawks team. The game that Atlanta Hawks versus Memphis Grizzlies. This game is crazy. So the injuries right here. There's a plethora of them. Clint Capella, Danilo Gallinari, Onyeka Okongwu, they are out. Trae Young, DeLon Wright, they're doubtful. Very doubtful. I'm expecting them to miss this game. And now if we just had that news, I would, and that was everything, there was no questionable guys, I would feel comfortable giving you guys information. But DeAndre Hunter, Kevin Huerter, Solomon Hill, Bogdan Bogdanovic, they are all questionable. So there's really nothing I can really say right now on specific plays that I want to give you from this team. You're going to have to be in that live stream, which is completely free, 30 minutes before lock. Make sure to be there to have the most up-to-date information, because I do believe that we're going to get information from the Atlanta Hawks and Memphis Grizzlies before lock, even though the game does start an hour after lock. You're going to want to be there because if all those guys miss, John Collins. I mean, John Collins is a great play regardless, but guys like Cam Reddish, Sharif Cooper, Jalen Johnson, they are going to be like the best plays on the slate. If all the questionable guys miss, these guys are going to be like the best plays on the slate, as well as the Memphis Grizzlies guys. But yeah, all these guys are very questionable. And if it's just Bogdanovic starting or healthy and Kevin Huerter's out, Bogdanovic becomes a near lock. But if Bogdanovic is out and Kevin Huerter is starting, he becomes a near lock because he's going to be the main facilitator on the team. We saw last year when Trae Young was out for a couple of games, Kevin Huerter, very good ball handler, and they will give him all the opportunities to do so. Cam Reddish shot a crazy amount of times last game. So if all these guys are out, Cam Reddish becomes probably the best point per dollar play on the slate. But we're going to have to really just be on top of that. But we will be on top of that in the Discord, in the Patreon when that news does break. And then the Memphis Grizzlies, we pretty much know what's going on already. They announced everything yesterday. John Morant, Steven Adams, Jaren Jackson Jr., Dylan Brooks, Sean McDermott, Killian Tilly, Kyle Anderson, Sam Merrill, and Chris Dunn are all out in this game. So this team is going to be very, very thin. A similar situation to what we saw with the Miami Heat, especially because they are very, very affordable across the board. Zaire Williams, 5.3K. Everybody else on this team is sub 5K. I don't know why they have Marc Gasol on here. He's not on the team. But yeah, ran in an 11-man rotation last game, and that was with most of these guys active. So it's going to be very, very thin. Of course, some of those guys, they ran an 11-man rotation, but some of these guys were DNPs, like Brandon Clark. I expect him to play in this game. But my favorite play on the entire slate as of right now is D'Anthony Melton at 4.7K, 25.8% usage rating, 21.3 assist percentage, averaging 1.25 fantasy points per minute. In 302 minutes without Morant, Valanciunas, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Dylan Brooks last year. And it actually gets up to 1.27 fantasy points per minute without Kyle Anderson as well. But that is a much smaller sample size. I wanted to get a larger sample size. So I kept Kyle Anderson in there, but he is out in this game. So D'Anthony Melton is going to be a very ball-dominant guard in here, as well as Tyus Jones. I think people are going to gravitate towards D'Anthony Melton for good reason, but Tyus Jones, over a 30% assist percentage with all of those guys out last year. Going to be the main ball handler on this team next to D'Anthony Melton. I expect both of them to grab starts here. And the guys like Tillman, Brandon Clark in the front court should be very, very strong plays. These guys are probably going to play around 30 plus minutes in this game, and they are all sub 5K. So you're going to want to play like 3-4 of these guys. You know, you could probably get away with only playing like 2 or 3 if all of the Atlanta guys are out and you play all your guys from the Atlanta team. Now, if we do not receive news until after lock, you're just going to want to play all these Memphis guys. But yeah, I hope you guys do well today. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, comment down below. If you have any questions at all, again, you guys can join the Patreon linked down below. Join the Discord link down below. That is completely free. I will be live streaming 30 minutes before lock to answer every single question you guys have, break down all the most recent news. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Best of luck tonight, and until next time, peace.